So I vividly remember March 2020. We'd just gone into lockdown, first ever lockdown. The gyms were shut, kids were off school, and I remember thinking, what am I going to do for the trip for my training? Because at the time, I wasn't into strength training, and I'd never done any bodyweight training really. I was just doing like bag work, and treadmill sprints and stuff with the kettlebells really. So I had my punch bag up and I thought I'll just go on that a few times a week. The gym should be open soon, which obviously I got that one wrong. And anyway, my son then, he was like 9 years old, and my daughters were, I've got twin girls, so they were 7 years old. And there was a guy, Joe Wicks, he was doing these like home workouts on YouTube, and my missus was doing them with the kids one day, and the kids were like, "Dad, are you going to join in?" And I said, yeah, I'll have a go tomorrow. And I very arrogantly assumed that it would be a piece of piss, that it'd be very easy, because obviously, I can do 12 rounds on the bag, I can do sprints on the treadmill, it'll be no problem for me, this, a few star jumps and burpees and that. So next day, starts working out with my missus and the kids. There's like 5 of us in a very small little living room. And about 15 minutes in, I think it was 30 second on, 30 second off, maybe 20-minute workout, I had to give up. I had to stop on a session of burpees because I was winded, had a stitch, and I couldn't continue. And I was like, this is embarrassing. My missus was laughing at me. And I remember thinking, whoa, I'm not as fit as I think I am. But it lit a flame inside me, because then for the next 12 months, I became absolutely obsessed with bodyweight training, burpees, squat jumps, all that kind of stuff. And after 45 months, I was the most athletic I've ever been. I was like 83 kilos, could see my obliques. I was doing a kind of a low-carb diet as well. But that is by far the most athletic I've been. Obviously, I've been fit with the bag work and the treadmill sprints, but I felt so light on my feet from all the jumping and stuff. And then, like, my missus carried on with that. I kind of moved on to doing these burpee workouts. I was watching a US Marine called Iron Wolf, and I was doing his workouts, trying to keep up with him, but I couldn't do. So I was just doing like my own version of them workouts. But I did that for a year, and by April 2021, I was by far the fittest, the most athletic I've ever been at 40-year-old. So that body weight kind of training is, I think it's brilliant. The physique and the fitness it gives you is amazing. But then April 2021, when I turned 40, that's when I did my first ever barbell back squat and deadlift. And instantly, again, same pattern, I became instantly obsessed with that training. And that's what I've done for the last 4.5 years. I have just been madly obsessed with squats and deadlifts, basically. I've never stopped training. I've not had a week off planned. I've had a few illnesses. I've had a bit of a rough time with my bowel disease and stuff, and bad chest infection, but I've still managed to train every week, even if it's very light. And I think that's why I've made such good progress as well. But in all that time I was doing the strength training, I was still doing the conditioning. So I would either do bag work, kettlebell swings, burpees, mainly burpees and kettlebell swings with a bit of bag work. Whether it's one session a week, sometimes 3 or 4, and the squat and deadlift would be put down to 1 or 2. But in all that time, I combined both of them. But that's why this year, March, April, May and most of June, so this 15-16 week block that I've just done a strength, that's the longest time I've gone without doing any kind of conditioning or cardio, whatever you want to call it, in 15 years. And I can feel it, I can really feel it. And I'll never neglect the conditioning again. Yeah, I've had some great strength gains, 255 deadlift, 200 key squat. Very, very impressed with them, obviously, but I just missed the conditioning so much, and now this week going back to it, it's a real struggle. Like today I struggled, and these are very gentle circuits. It's like a couple of rounds of press-ups, a couple of rounds of crunches, some rows, some kettlebell presses and stuff like that, and I was gassed out, man. I went to take a break between my round of sets, and yeah, it's tough at the minute. I mean, I went on the bag yesterday. That weren't too bad, but I'm so used to. I've done bag work for like 15 years, so. But the kettlebell swings and burpees, I really struggled with them the other day, and like I say, I struggled today. So I won't neglect conditioning ever again. I will always keep it in. Will I ever get strong? Now, will I get stronger? Will I be able to improve on that 255 deadlift or a 200 key squat? I doubt it. But I can still aim for strength goals, relative to the body weight and stuff. I definitely won't improve on the squat because losing weight is a big influence on my squat strength. And the deadlift, maybe I'll still keep a lot of strength there, but we'll see. But conditioning for me is it's a must, and I'll never neglect it again. But I do always remember that home workout humiliation that pretty much turned me into a cardio machine for like 12 months. So that's what I'm going to continue to do now, try and keep a good blend of the strength and conditioning.